Congratulations, it's a I meant a 4-inch leech. A 51-year-old man in southern China who had been suffering from nosebleeds recently was horrified when doctors showed him the cause of his problem. Reported by New Straits Times, the man from Beihai, GUANGXI, had been suffering from nosebleeds for 10 days and general discomfort in the nasal area. A doctor determined that there was some unusual activity going on in the man's right nasal cavity and was shocked by what he found. The doctor began to treat the problem and decided to record the process. In the video, we see a light from a flashlight illuminate the man's right nostril as the doctor is poised with a pair of tweezers, and what's in there is not for the faint-hearted. A 4-inch long leech was eventually pulled from the man's nose. Ugh! Reported by the Shanghaiist, the leech was much smaller when it crawled into the man's nose while he was drinking fresh mountain spring water. Well, thanks to the doctor, the man is now in good condition and his nose isn't bleeding anymore. For now. They get into everything.
Roach in your ear? Don't spray it like this guy did. A man in Chengdu, China decided to take matters into his own hands when a cockroach got stuck in his ear. The 60-year-old man, surnamed Li, was enjoying a good night's sleep when his slumber was disrupted by a sudden pain in his head. Suspecting a bug might be in his ear, Li tried removing the critter with a toothpick, then tweezers, before shaking his head violently from side to side. None of which worked. Li then sprayed pesticide into his ear, which killed the roach but caused his ear canal to swell up. What's more, the roach remained stuck in his ear. After putting up with the pain for 3 days, Li finally went to the hospital where a doctor removed the 1-centimeter-long cockroach from his ear canal. The doctor later advised that anyone facing the same problem as Mr. Li should try pouring mineral oil into their ear to flush out the bug.
Man enjoys being attacked by a wood spider. This man, apparently an insect lover, posted a video on Viral Hog about how a wood spider likes to bite his hand in the breeding room. Wood spiders are also known as tailless whip scorpions. They are harmless to humans and can be found in tropical and subtropical regions worldwide.
Woman gets big Florida roach stuck in her ear. Feel your spidey senses tingling? That might just be a massive cockroach jammed into your ear. Ew. According to Self magazine, Katie Holly and her husband had just moved into their newly purchased house, which unfortunately already had some squatters, so the couple paid for an exterminator to spray the residence. Problem solved. Or was it? A few weeks later, on the night of April 14th, Holly woke up in the middle of the night with a strange feeling in her left ear. She went into the bathroom and used a Q-tip to see what was up, and 2 little black legs came out. After freaking out, Holly made her way to the emergency room where a doctor used some lidocaine to numb her ear and kill the roach. He then started pulling pieces of the dead roach out. Too bad he didn't get all of it. 9 days later, Holly's ear still felt funky, so she went to see an ENT doctor who ended up pulling out the entire head and upper torso of the dead roach. Yummy. Holly said she now sleeps with cotton balls in her ears to keep out other unwanted ear invaders. U.S. cities experiencing influx of new residents. Bedbugs. Everything is on the up and up in the U.S. You can't deny that. The numbers coming out of the bedbug sector are especially strong and should continue to climb. Baltimore has ranked #1 on Oregon's annual Top 50 Bedbug Cities list for a second straight year. Baltimore was followed by Washington, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Columbus. Bedbug numbers were reduced after World War II, but have since made a comeback due to increased traveling, regulatory restrictions on insecticides such as DDT, and tolerance to organic pesticides. One research firm found that the bedbug control industry was worth around $611.2 million in 2016, with some analysts estimating industry revenue could hit $1 billion in 5 years. According to one report, hotels spend on average $6,383 per bedbug incident, which includes the replacement cost for soft goods, treatment, and lost business.
Beware of the tick. Ticks are typically out from spring through summer and early fall, but 2017 is particularly bad, and here's why. The northeastern U.S. had a warmer winter. which means more ticks survived and made a whole bunch of baby bloodsuckers. There's also been an increase in the number of deer and other woodland creatures, which ticks typically rely on as food sources. Oh, and don't forget the exploding mice population across the northeastern United States. More rodents to act as hosts. Fun! So here are the problems you might encounter and some ways to combat them. People living in areas affected by Lyme disease should check their bodies daily for ticks. And if you do find one, don't panic. Using tweezers, carefully remove the tick by pulling its mouth out of the skin. Do not squeeze the tick's body, as this can cause the contents of its stomach to burst onto the skin. Also, don't use petroleum jelly or smoke to remove it. Check with the Centers for Disease Control if Lyme disease is a problem in your area. Save the tick for lab testing, monitor your health, and if you develop symptoms of Lyme disease, consult a doctor. The Powassan Virus is a potentially life-threatening virus transmitted by ticks, including the deer tick. The virus can infect everyone, including children, teenagers, middle-aged people, and the elderly. Although most people will not develop symptoms, the virus kills about 15% of those who do. Meanwhile, some 50% of survivors will suffer long-term neurological damage. Others will experience symptoms similar to those of the flu, including fevers and headaches.
Swarm of flying cockroaches descends on New York City. The summer weather always brings a buzz around New York, but this year's scorching hot temperatures are attracting more than just fun-loving humans. With 90-degree humidity cloaking the city, American cockroaches are spreading their wings. When the heat turns up, the cockroaches move around a lot more to keep cool. Moisture leaves their bodies and frees up a second pair of wings that typically aren't activated. The cockroaches don't actually fly though. To put it more accurately, they glide, descending from above, one city block at a time. To the people on the ground below, it's hardly a welcome development. However it is that they're getting around, most New Yorkers still hate them all the same. Ah, the pitfalls of a city littered with refuse.